Hey, and welcome to the Hop Cartel. Posted a few videos earlier on in the hop season here in Australia. So I decided to might put a few more videos up and do a couple of beer reviews and a few other shenanigans throughout the year leading up to the next hop season. And I did promise that I was going to do a pretty detailed series of videos. It's pretty much centered around the growing the hops. Once again, time got away. Working the two jobs certainly got away from me, and I just didn't get enough time to keep posting the videos. So hopefully next season I'll give it a better go. Try and do a more detailed series of videos right through the season. Just going to discuss Festive IPA by MOA Brewing. So I have tried this particular beer previously, and I've had a fair few other beers in between, or since last having this one. I did have their stout, white IPA, a few others of the MOA Brewing line, particularly the limited release, and this one being the pint edition. Like I say, I've had a few others in between, and I decided to revisit because I was so impressed and drawn in by the balance that these guys have with their beers. I honestly haven't had one that's disappointed me yet. So I thought I'd revisit the MOA Festive IPA, the pint edition, particularly because that's the one that I found that had a really good balance. Preference to me, certainly hit the spot. There is quite a few varieties of hops that's obviously been put into this IPA, and they do state it's seasonally hops, so they are obviously big fresh hop flavours. So they're being New Zealand brewing company. They do have and are increasing their varieties through the New Zealand hops, and I do believe that the main hop growing company over there has brought out a fair bit more land from other hop growers, and it's pretty high stakes, and they do hold a fair few percentage of what's going on there. Not sure what varieties that these guys have at the moment. I do believe, obviously New Zealand Cascade, your Moeki's, your Green Bullets, all that type of stuff is quite standard sort of lines for what's going on over in New Zealand. Anyway, This one is loaded with Columbus, Simcoe, Citra, Amarillo, Sriracha Ace, and Nelson Sauvin, or Sauvin, not sure how different parts of the world pronounce certain hops, but anyway, it's, like I say, it is loaded, and a quite nice beer. Very sort of basic label, but it was eye-catching to me. It's being a festive IPA. It's obviously it's probably more centered around that sort of Christmas. There's a red labelled one, which is obviously the green label and the red label are probably more pointed towards the festive season of Christmas. But anyway, it has been available at my local bottle shop on a continuous supply, so and a good price too. They always put on the you know, the 2 for so many dollars or the 3 for so many dollars specials, and they do sell well. And it's continually moving, continually supplied. So it's yeah. It's got a great on the first opening, when you the malt, to me, I'm a cigar smoker, which you will probably have a little bit more of that going on with this channel too. Very reminds me of a freshly opened cigar, especially one that's it's been pressed and aged in a humidor. But I recently had a genuine Cuban, and this reminds me so much of just opening up. Not so much the flavour, but just on the nose, really malty, sort of musty. Makes me feel like having a cigar. But I've learnt from that. Going on, someone I posted some photos or a video on the Hop Cartel page, and possibly on one of the homebrew forums, and someone, yeah, they attacked me big time, saying, what would you smoke a cigar and ruin the flavour of a beer? But there is some beers out there that go quite well with cigars, there's no doubt about it. Anyway, we'll this glass is dirty, and that's probably not the best thing to be doing, but I've already had one of the IPAs. I was just come off the second shift for the day, 13-hour day for me, so I couldn't wait, and I decided, the page has been sort of sitting dormant for a while. I might add some new variety, some new stuff to the page, and we'll get it booted again. So for the second one, hopefully it's not going to make too much of a difference. The glass is already dirty. I'll probably get this for this, but anyway. It's funny, they do pour a very good head on the glass, in the glass, when there's already lacing there. The first one didn't even pour that well, but anyway, it's sort of got some translucency to it, but it's also quite muddy. Columbus, it's a beautiful hop, works well. I find with the home brewers that it's definitely one of those hops that's become quite favourable, especially with those that decide to grow Columbus at home. I actually haven't got any here at the moment, but after trying a home brew that one of fellow brewers on our page, a big shout out to, and we do state, and J-Man is he pushes this one pretty hard. Is we don't own the page. I'm an admin. Jason's an admin. There's a couple other admins on the page as well. That it's for the community. It's not. We don't heavily control. Sort of we have to approve posts, but we don't heavily control the sort of how the page runs. It's World Home Brew Club, and it's for the community, the brewing community, and caring is sharing is caring, and that's the sort of the philosophy of World Home Brew Club. We don't ever say Jason's the founder, it's his page, or you know, us as admin, we don't get well, what's the word? We don't get protective and stuff of ownership or stuff like that. We do always state that it's everyone's page. It's our page. It's for everyone. There's no I in team, and that's probably the bottom line there. Anyway, it's well rounded. It's got great bitterness. Very, very piney, as the label states. It's the pine edition, but that malt is also there. I'm one of those that like, you can get an IPA and it's all about the hops. I want that hop right there up front, and then off the back, you know, I want to taste that malt. I want to taste the grain, the main part of that beer. I want it to be included in the flavour. Currently, I have my first attempt. It wasn't started out that way. It was supposed to be a don't know what I've done with the book. Just a basic kit beer, or kit in bits, excuse me, and hasn't turned out as I just, you know, I've seen a few recipes come up about the new fad that's coming through, the new style of beer that you know, and it happens quite frequently. They came through, so it's a New England IPA. Basically, I describe them as a bitter fruit juice IPA, big on fruits, very murky. It's almost like a basically, I'm not sure whether the guys around the world are familiar with it, but it's definitely one of the things you'll find on the shelf here in the supermarket. V8 juice, and it's like having fruit salad, liquefied fruit salad, and this beer, and it's just, it's not hard to explain. It's an easy type of beer to brew. It's all very late, so there's nothing early on in the boil, or if you're doing just basic kits and you still want to build the same style recipe or the same style of beer, it's quite easy to do. There's nothing really there that's at the beginning of the whole process. You use bittering hops late, you use your aroma and flavour hops late, and just jam pack it with different varieties of hops. The descriptions that they give on certain websites is quite good. Any hop they say you use late and they give you a description on the flavour or aroma, you're probably always going to get that. The other beer that I've actually got brewing in a separate temperature controlled chamber is the roasted dark ale. I've labelled it a hop roasted dark ale. At the moment it's tasting, it's got a lot of bitterness on there, but it's also quite fruity, almost sort of raisin, and I guess you'd say a little bit citrus. It reminds me, apart from the colour, but it also reminds me a lot of a Belgian white, but with lots of bitterness. I sort of brewed that beer and made that beer to be more of a shock sort of a brew. People sort of, pour it up, you look at it without telling them sort of what's gone into it. And they sort of smell it. It gives off that dark beer smell, roasty, sort of dried fruits, but on the mouth it's quite different. It just throws you. But under carbonation it might be something different. Anyway, like I say, I'm hoping once the new hop season comes around here in Australia that we do get more videos up, and in the meantime I'll be throwing up all types of what I like to call shenanigans. I'll throw in whatever I can. If I go out to enjoy a restaurant meal and they've got a certain limited release beer, or something I haven't tried, and then as long as the wife and kids don't mind, then I'll do a quick video there and snap it up on the channel. Also, like I say, big shout out to our main Facebook page, World Homebrew Club. Membership does come from approval. You will be background checks, but we're encouraging people from all over. I'm pretty sure we've got some American members, and we've probably got members from other various parts of the world. But we welcome pretty much everyone that wants to get on board. Like I say, that there's nothing too in-depth about the background check. We sort of just check out your profile and we have a look sort of what's going on there. If you're members of other brewing pages, then it's certainly an easy gate in. Also, World Homebrew Club is it's all about all facets of brewing, distilling, cooking. We can't emphasise that enough. Cooking is definitely one of the things that we want to see more of, whether it be spent grain cooking. We're currently, well, I'm currently playing around with a cheap charcoal smoker, and I'm trying things like hop hash, hop pellets, fresh grown sort of hops. I'm not sure whether there's anything from what I tried that's becoming rancid, but certainly not too bad flavour coming from those sorts of things. Thanks for watching, and enjoy all other videos to come.